So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Christine Gregg, and I'm so proud to be the leader of the Democratic Caucus and be joined by so many of my colleagues in our House Democratic Caucus. You know, we all know that insurance rates are too high. We've been talking about it for years, since, even before I came here to the Capitol. But the process that has unfolded in the House and Senate over the last 2 weeks, it's been a sham. It's been an absolute sham. So in both chambers, bills were dropped and rushed and moved with little notice, and very little opportunity for public input. Here in the House, the Republican proposal was rushed through in a day. We all remember that last week. It was rushed through in a day without a committee hearing, with the bill coming in the dark of night with very little opportunity to review a nearly 80-page document. Yet when you actually read the bill, now that we've had time to sift through that fine print, it isn't surprising that Republicans rushed through their proposal, and it is actually very bad policy. Because even worse than the process was actually the content of HB 4397 and Senate Bill 1. They will do nothing to actually guarantee lower rates for Michigan drivers. The bills only ask insurance companies to look at reducing one portion of insurance bills, the driver's PIP insurance. And the bills do nothing to keep insurance companies from simply increasing the non-PIP portion of our bills, and that is absolutely unacceptable. Like most Michiganders, I don't want to cross my fingers and hope that insurance companies actually reduce my rates. I want a guarantee. And that's why we're here today. House Democrats know Michiganders want lower rates and quality coverage, and we have a plan that gives them both, while reducing their rates to at least 40%. This is no fuzzy insurance math, reducing your total auto insurance rate by 40%. Our plan will put Michigan back in drive by delivering reduced insurance rates and value to every Michigan driver. We value your pocketbook and your health. We can do both. So to talk more about our plan, I'm going to turn it over to Representative Donna Lazinski.
Thank you, Leader Gregg. Our current auto system is broken. Over the last 50 years, special interests and insurance companies have learned how to bend and twist the system to their benefit and to the detriment of every driver in the state of Michigan. And that's why I was honored to be asked to be the Democratic Vice Chair on the Select Committee to Reduce Auto Insurance Rates. I've been committed to a bipartisan solution since this process began, because we need to solve our insurance problem with a solution that protects consumers and maintains care for catastrophically injured accident victims. We need a solution that addresses the waste in the system, the fraud, and the litigation that keeps auto insurance rates unnecessarily high. My Democratic colleagues and I, from the first day of this session, rolled up our sleeves and worked across the aisle to reform our broken auto insurance policy, and we've done it since day one of this legislative session. But then politics, just plain old politics, leapfrogged our process. And as Leader Gregg described, in the middle of the night, we were handed a bill that had no relation to the bipartisan work that we had been doing. Instead, SB 1 and House Bill 4397 are one-sided proposals that do not guarantee any long-term or real rate reduction. In fact, they fly in the face of the bipartisan work that we had been doing up to that point and our commitment to lower auto insurance rates once and for all. The winners of this proposal in front of us now are clearly the auto insurance companies. But our D.R.I.V.E. plan puts Michigan drivers squarely back in the driver's seat. Our plan puts a guaranteed rate reduction of 40% at the top of our priority list. And that's 40% across your entire bill. We pay out an awful lot of lines if you look at your insurance policy of rates and bills and add-ons and items. It's 40% across the whole thing, not just one line on your bill. And by combining that rate reduction with real reforms that take on the fraud in the system and hold perpetrators accountable, that reduce lawsuits by bringing back into that system fairness, prompt payment, and all other items, and by controlling the costs in the system, by giving drivers a discount for coordinating their health insurance benefits, we give seniors more flexibility with their health care. We can ensure real rate relief for years to come. The fallacy of rate reduction in Senate Bill 1 and House Bill 4397 is underlined by the lack of will to take away from the insurance companies the power to say, this is the rate that was approved, but now we're going to charge you whatever we want to charge you. 26 states don't allow that. We still allow that. So the rate might go down on paper, but it will never make it to you. And with that, here is my colleague, Tyrone Carter, to talk more specifics.
Thank you, Rep. Lazinski. Good morning. I'm Tyrone Carter, State Representative from District 6, Detroit, and I'm new to the legislature, but I'm not new to these high rates. I'm 56. I've been driving since I was 16 years old, so you kind of do the math. When I was running for office and since coming to the legislature, priority one in every town hall meeting, anything we talked about has been car insurance. Doesn't matter if they're young, old, working, it doesn't matter. Car insurance is number one. So nothing could be more clear about reducing auto rates in my district. That's why many of my colleagues have held town halls, and we spent time with residents because we want to be sure that it's not us saying this to you all. The residents have made it clear at our town halls, at our meetings, at our coffee hours, that insurance is still number one. But what they stress is reduction, reduction. I've heard them loud and clear. The House and Senate proposals in House Bill 4397 and Senate Bill 1 do nothing to guarantee rate reduction. See, in my past employment, we had words like shall and must, not maybe, not perhaps. So, and they're doing nothing to hold the discriminatory practices in determining the rates. We must do better. We can do better. Our D.R.I.V.E. plan for auto insurance reform will deliver historic insurance reform for Detroit and the families in Michigan. And I couldn't be more proud to be part of this team to make it happen. And now I'll turn this over to Representative Sherry Gay-Dagnogo to outline the plan for insurance reform.
Thank you, Representative Carter. Good morning. I'm Representative Sherry Gay-Dagnogo, a Detroiter that knows a whole lot, I won't say better than most, but a whole lot about the impact of these expensive auto insurance rates. I'm in my third and final term. I've served 2 terms on the House Auto Insurance Committee, but been dedicated to this issue day one, understanding the impact and also having some pretty strong mentors, you know, like Senator Scott, who took to the floor yearly addressing redlining and auto insurance disparities that impact the city of Detroit the most. Insurance companies charge us because of where we live. They charge us because of our education attainment level, marital status, gender, credit score, you know, home ownership status, and other factors that have absolutely nothing to do with how well we drive. Yet the proposals we've seen put forward by the House and Senate, Republicans do absolutely nothing to address these discriminatory factors. We just celebrated Mother's Day this past Sunday. And I know my mother, and probably all of your mothers taught you, that nothing goes on good at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Taking that note from my mother, we're joined together today, pushing back. And we're not just crossing our fingers and hoping and wishing that the Department of Insurance and Financial Services comes up with some magical formula to address rate discrepancies. In fact, we're thankful for the governor, who's called for an audit of the Department of Insurance and Financial Services to address these disparities and what the impact of non-driving factors have on all of our drivers. As a Detroiter, I need a lot more than hope and a prayer and some crossed fingers. We're going to end discrimination in our auto insurance package. That's why Democrats wrote a bill, and other members in our Detroit caucus have bills. Our D.R.I.V.E. auto insurance plan actually guarantees an end to the discriminatory factors and discrimination that lowers rate for all Michigan drivers. We will deliver reduced insurance rates and value to every Michigander, no matter where they live, guaranteeing a 40% rate reduction on the total of the bill, as has been said before. That's real money. We're talking about $2,282 on average in the city of Detroit. We're talking about $1,571 in Flint. We're talking about $1,014 in Lansing, $951 Grand Rapids, $768 in Marquette. What you found from the plans that have just been put forward, Senate Bill 1, House Bill 4397, and even the last term, 5013, nobody could give you any numbers. It's always that fuzzy math. And so we're committed to driving the conversation towards relief. And those numbers could go even higher if you're paying more than the average driver. And we aren't leaving it up to insurance companies or the Department of Insurance Financial Service to lower those rates. We're requiring they lower rates, and we aren't crossing our fingers and hoping, and we're going to stop using discriminatory non-driving factors which pits us against each other throughout the state of Michigan and set real rates with real relief. Our D.R.I.V.E. plan outlaws the use of non-driving factors, unlike Senate Bill 1 and House Bill 4397. We're taking away gender, credit scores, education attainment level, occupation, marital status, home ownership, and zip code. All Michigan drivers should be able to have affordable driving insurance. We would create a consumer protection fraud authority to take on fraud within the system, not just shifting it away from the Attorney General's office. We will provide seniors with even greater rate reductions, allowing those with a lifetime health care plan, Medicare, and freedom to opt out with PIP coverage. But most important of all, it does all these things without reducing health care. I met with a bunch of nurse practitioners last night that spoke so passionately about this issue. They knew a whole lot about taking care of our most vulnerable citizens, those that need home care and health care. And they pleaded with us to stand in support of valuing every Michigan driver and making sure that they have the health coverage that they so desperately need in the event of a catastrophic injury. We're not going to reduce those benefits of accident victims when tragedy strikes. Our D.R.I.V.E. plan finally provides a solution to Michigan's highest in the nation's auto insurance rates, providing Michigan residents with the real reform and the lower costs they deserve. It's time to give hard-working Michiganders a seat at the table as we prioritize lower rates for all drivers without compromising quality of coverage we rely on. We are committed to making this happen. We're committed to making it a reality and putting Michigan back in drive. I don't know about you, but I first learned how to drive on a stick shift. And now we're in automatic era right now where most people are driving those automatics. But we want to make this so that whether you're driving a stick, whether you're driving automatic, no matter who taught you to drive, our young people that need to drive, everybody should be able to realize affordable auto insurance rates.